still went and slid down the pole.
Yeah, had to go feed the horses so they pull a fire engine.
Must be the air conditioner this time or something.
Yeah, quiet.
It got really quiet.
It is 6 o'clock. I call this meeting to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First up is approval of the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second?
Moved in second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed say no. Agenda is approved. Next up is consent agenda.
I'll move for the approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved in second. Is there any discussion?
I had a few questions. Scott kinda answered, but what happened with the tractor?
That's what I wondered.
Yeah, basically the engine just caught fire. I don't remember exactly why.
Is it a big tractor or?
Yeah, it was the backhoe or the front end loader.
Front end.
Pardon?
The new one we just got?
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yep.
Okay.
Doesn't make for a good day.
No.
On the pre-Newhoff one, is there a different way we can write this? I know we're limited on, you know, what we can put in for description. But since, those roads are already done and that was last year, can we write it a different way? Instead of saying Lakeview, Lewis and Wilshire?
Well, we're still closing that out. We came back this spring to finish up the project, and I think there was a punch list down in Brenda's neck of the woods probably a couple of weeks ago. So that's just the first one in the list. I think I noted we're also got expenses for the Water Asset Management Grant, Mears Avenue, Warner Street, and I think there was a fourth. Oh, the Downtown Capital.
Something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a number of them, and that I think will probably be done with the Wilshire, Lakeview, and Lewis, but there is still some engineering fees trickling in on that one.
I wish we'd actually done some engineering on Wilshire Drive. The ditches are worse now than they were before as far as water.
Well, the whole street, including stormwater runoff and drainage, was engineered.
The thing is, it was too high before, it ran uphill. So it can't get to the drain that runs underneath the road at the corner. And they didn't change anything on that cover, so it's still running uphill, so it runs halfway to it, and it just stops in the middle of the yard, and the whole ditch is just full of water.
Okay, I'll talk with Brian about that and see if that might be on the punch list.
And the only other one I had was the one on, it's just river rentals now, we didn't rent something for $1,100 and something, we bought something.
Correct. Yep. There was a number of things that we purchased.
Okay,
Yeah,
I didn't,
White Lake Nursery was sold out to Rivers Rentals, which is part of Rivers Ace Hardware. Just a different corporate name.
I didn't realize that that's what they were calling the case,
Yep.
but, okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I have a question on this, transferring of money from the one account to the other. Why is that considered an account payable? When you're, are we not moving money from one bank to another? Or what that, on the front page, CD investment account startup for Consumers Credit Union.
Yeah, this was the city council, if it wasn't the last council meeting, perhaps the prior one, approved Consumers Credit Union as one of our depositories.
Yes.
And we're transferring $250,000 into a CD. They actually bumped it up. We saw that they were offering a higher rate for non-governmental entities, and we said, boy, we'd like to have that same rate, and I think we're well over 5%. Plus, there's a $25 membership fee. A lot of credit unions require you to open up an account.
Oh, that's what, at 25?
Yep, that's why it's the odd 25. That's our membership fee, and then the $250,000 will be the CD that we're
Okay,
transferring.
But this Consumer Credit Union is not actually handling our day-to-day check writing and all
No.
that?
Nope, that's still with Choice Bank. We're just taking some money from Choice Bank and putting it into consumers to earn a little more money.
Okay, that makes sense. Thanks.
Anyone else? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of the consent agenda, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, say no.
No,
Consent agenda is approved. Next up, message for the mayor, council, and city manager. Scott, I believe you have something for us.
I do. Hopefully you all saw the email that I sent out. There was a Zoom meeting with the Michigan Strategic Fund Board, which is part of the MEDC, which is the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. The 201, well, it's 115 West Colby LLC. It's the 201 West Colby project, which formerly known as the NEDS. They had applied for it and today received a $1.5 million grant from the state of Michigan to help offset the cost of that construction. There was myself and Chris Veneclausen actually, I guess, made a presentation to the board, and that was voted on immediately after. So I think everything is wrapped up. The financing is all in place. There's 7 investors. I think the primary investor is 28%. And of course, somebody's going to do the math and show that I'm wrong. And the rest are 14%. So if that adds up to 7 or 6, then that's what the number is. So there's a number of investors. All of the people are either locally based or have ties to the White Lake area. Veneclausen LLC is out of Grand Rapids, but Chris Veneclausen, the president and the lead on this project, has a cottage on White Lake. So it's great to have a lot of local involvement on this project. So now we anticipate that they'll probably start construction as early as next month. Not early next month, because that's just right around the corner, but certainly in July. 2 other items, if I may, Mayor, is that we have submitted round 2 of the Sparks grant. I made a couple of adjustments because we did get the scoring criteria. I think the 2 biggest things was that I did get a letter of support from the West Michigan Disability Network in regards to the ADA accessible bathrooms, parking lots, and play structures. That was one of the things that we were missing. And on the financials, I did, in a sense, we have provided some match funding for a number of grants. I think she actually sent me an email from Mexico that we had tentative approval. I
I
said,
was excited.
She was, and I said, thank you, now quit working, go back to the pool. So that's a huge deal, and that was also mentioned this morning with the MEDC because the RRC is part of MEDC as well as the Strategic Fund Board. So I just kind of threw that in to tie the two together. So a lot of good positive things happening, and hopefully we'll be very successful on our grant applications.
Wonderful. Very happy to hear that we've made that mark of being designated as a redevelopment-ready community. So I think that's a good thing for us.
Yeah, and Brenda did a ton of work on that.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
Let's start with Keith. Anything?
Nothing, Steve.
Steve?
I just, with this new development going in there, I noticed whenever there's an event in Goodrich Park, that whole lot is sometimes totally filled with parking vehicles. So now I'm wondering, the original plan when we redid Goodrich was to have an extra parking lot across from the one that's there. I don't know if that's still feasible or possible, or if we can make the other parking lot a little bigger so we can get more cars there, or maybe behind Big John's have it more usable as parking space. I don't know, but people are gonna be wondering, where am I gonna go, I mean, it's gonna take up a lot of parking spots when that building goes in, so.
It will, and yes to both of your points. We will be putting in a parking lot, basically behind Big John's to provide parking for the new West Colby Promenade, as well as Big John's, as well as special events. It's not going to be a private lot for Big John's, but I'd imagine that their 2 or 3 employees will park down there, clear up parking space up top for their customers, or actually be in a parking lot instead of parking on the grass or on that dirt strip leading to their building. We also are looking at with the phase, the 2023 TIFA, is the parking lot to the right as you enter Goodrich Park will be duplicated just a little bit more to the north. So we will be doubling the size of that parking lot with an identical parking lot. So we will have probably not as many parking spaces, but definitely more designated. So we are taking that into account. And I don't think, initially talking to the developers, they were not opposed to some public parking in their parking lot. I think they've got 64 spaces with 32 residential units.
Okay, thank you.
I did notice during that Father's Day weekend when there was so much parking down there that there was still plenty of parking up in the city.
Oh, yeah.
Behind Fetch, behind Pub 111, there was still lots of parking in the city available, so it's just people don't wanna walk.
That's true.
And looking at, I understand, because my wife has been a big thing, where are we gonna park? If you look back, and not really all that far, when the bowling alley was there and going strong, we didn't have that parking, we survived. I mean, we still had activities going on. We used to have some big activities with the Maritime Festival and everything else. So it's just, it'll take a little while for people to get adjusted, but there's definitely gonna be parking around.
Anything else?
No, I have nothing.
John?
Nothing tonight.
Did we buy the aerators that you were talking about? Did we not think that maybe that was gonna help with the algae problem? Or has it not, or?
It has helped, but we probably needed some bigger blowers. We went a little bit smaller scale. DPW's been down there a couple of times to clean them out. So once they start getting clogged up, like any type of filter, they lose some efficiency. So we're kind of monitoring how that's going, as well as in the bills tonight was another treatment for the weeds.
That's what brought to my attention.
Yeah, and we've also got the marina staff being a lot more proactive with the weed rake and trying to pull the weeds out. So we're trying to stay on top of it, but there's still a lot of the algae sitting on top. Just depends on which way the wind blows.
Yep.
And it's not been real favorable so far. It's blown into the corners of the marina.
Yep. That's all I had. Thank you.
Nothing tonight?
Nothing tonight.
No.
All right. Well, let's move on to public comment. Anybody in the audience like to speak? Here's not. All right. We'll move on to old business. Do we have any old business?
We do not, Your Honor.
Old business. New business, resolution 2325. Inspiration Art Wall.
I will happily move resolution 2325, the Inspiration Art Wall.
I'll second. Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
I'm hoping it meets everybody's expectations and doesn't become an issue, but, I'm
I have just,
haltingly gonna vote for this thing, but I'm a little concerned about it, so.
appreciate your vote for that. I have just one question. Where do you get your paint to do this?
Self-funded. So I just buy it from like Walmart or Ace Hardware, and it's not cheap, but it's fun. So
It'd be nice if some of our local merchants could benefit from this.
yeah, they probably will. And I'm also thinking about using paint as a fundraiser, such as like selling paint cans for a little bit more expensive prices at the wall during like an art day or something like that.
Very good. All right. No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Holmstrom,
Yes.
Heidelberg,
Yes.
Sickinga,
Yes.
Connell,
Yes.
Mullally,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Salter.
Yes. Resolution 2325 is approved. You can start painting.
Big smile.
No weeds first.
Yeah.
I will.
When does this go into effect? Immediately or?
Yeah, it goes into effect immediately. We'll have Mr. Jura coordinate with DPW as far as cleaning it up. I don't know if he's gonna have any type of ribbon cutting or a paint splattering, whatever you do on these type of projects, but we can work with him as well as some sort of official on-site, here it is, kind of a opening.
Eagerly anticipate the first splash of paint. All right, resolution 2326, budget amendment number 5.
I'll move to approve resolution 2326, budget amendment number 5.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Sickinga,
Yes.
Connell,
Yes.
Mullally,
Yes.
Brown,
No.
Holmstrom,
Yes.
Heidelberg,
Yes.
Salter.
Yes, resolution 2326 is approved. Public comment. Anyone here have anything they want to say? Yes, please.
God, we have somebody to come up and talk about it, right? I'm gonna talk about the senior center,
All right.
okay? This last week we had Pete. Chief Pete, fire department came over and did a demonstration with the AED machine we have now on premise. It's not installed fully yet, but it's there. It's useful. And some people say, oh, no, we don't want to be shot. Well, the machine will tell you whether the person has to be shot. So that's what's nice. We're talking about having another demonstration coming. And Pete there talking with us. He's a character, but he did really good for us. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Yes.
You know, Scott filled you in with grant approval today. I just wanted to reiterate that how fortunate Whitehall is to receive this money, because it was a very competitive grant. And
Who are you and who
I'm
do you
sorry,
represent?
yes, Christina Ackroff. I'm Senator John Bumstead's office, and I know John supported this, and we received notice this morning, so I wasn't sure how it had come to you, so I wanted to make sure that you were aware of it, but that how competitive it was, and there were a lot of people in the state waiting to receive these funds. So we are thrilled, and I'm sure you are thrilled that this is going through, because it will be a wonderful economic development boost for Whitehall. So that's all I had to say, and thank you.
Thank you. Tell
Sorry.
John. Thank you. It appears, no one else has anything further to say, then we are adjourned.
See you after the fall. You're all right.
Painless.